Mr. Cezak. On behalf of the faculty and the staff of the high school, I'd like to welcome the board here for the meeting tonight to our newly renovated auditorium. I don't know if you're going to want to spin in your seats because most of what the presentation is going to be on the screen, or you can use the front row here. As you know, as part of the construction work at the high school, in addition to the auditorium and the science wing, we've done extensive renovations to the tech wing. So we have Mr. Kennedy and some former students and some current students here to talk about the advancements that we've made in the area of technology. Mr. Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. I didn't realize I was going to have quite the crowd. You guys are really good to come out here tonight just for my presentation. Okay, so we've got it's a really good science program. We've got a really good math program, and we're trying to build an engineering program. That's the whole focus of this presentation. And from that engineering program, we have some really good technology classes, and I'm trying to look at a pathway. There's some programs out there, one called Project Lead the Way, and they're using those programs to teach engineering to kids, and I'm saying let's use what we already have. We already have good math, we already have good science, and let's build our own program. And that's the focus of my presentation. To provide a pathway for a kid that might go to an ECC type of school, might go to a Buff State type of school, or might go to a university school like UB. I'm trying to figure out a way to get kids to funnel through the high school to end up in those three different areas. There's a program that's pretty well known nationally. It's called STEMS, and that's kind of the focus behind what I'm trying to do. And my homegrown program that we have here at Orchard Park, I can probably best describe it with a short video. So I'm going to skip away and go to a little video now. So how did it all begin? In 2006, I attended a workshop at Buffalo State College, and a lot of times when you go to these workshops, you end up getting some sort of a t-shirt. Well, they gave me a t-shirt, it has my Buffalo State College on it, and I said, well, that's neat. What else am I going to get from this? Well, the engineers of the future workshop taught me about a thing called a pickaxe microprocessor, which is the foundation that I've used to sort of get new life into my program. I've been in the education system for probably 30 some odd years, and all of a sudden this has like opened up a whole new thing for me. But I wasn't really quite sure at the time how I was going to utilize this in my classroom. During the summer, a lot of times teachers get recharged. That was my recharge time. The epiphany, the light bulb went off. I saw finally how I could use this in my computer integrated manufacturing class. First thing I did was change the name of it. It used to be called CAD 2. We changed it to computer integrated manufacturing, and started to look at things that we could build, machines that we could build that we could use in our classroom, things that the school didn't have to buy, but our kids could get the experience, the engineering experience, real live engineering experience to try to build something as part of this project. Okay, it's reality. We had no supplies. How was it going to make something that we didn't have any supplies for? Our first project that we developed was this robotic arm over here, and it's pretty neat. It's wirelessly remote controlled. The kids designed it. They drew it in CAD. They manufactured the parts. Things that we couldn't manufacture, we begged, borrowed, and got it some other way. The fun part is the internet. I started with asking people. You'd be surprised what people would give you if you just asked. I wrote to Gates Belts, and I met a guy by the name of Robert Eck, and he donated a whole bunch of pulleys, synchronous pulleys and belts, things that I needed for this project. I have a dear friend, Mrs. Shawstall, a phys ed teacher here at Orchard Park High School. Her husband is a machinist at Moe. I says, I need these parts. My kids made the drawing with the little hubs that are up there on the screen. I need this part. Can you help me? He went to Moe, he asked the supervisor said, yeah, we'll make the parts for it. So that's how I got the drive hubs that I couldn't build any other way. This photograph of myself and Tom Hess from the application specialist, it's out of Rochester. Again, it's an email. I asked for a sample motor. He says, how about 4? That was enough to get my first project done. He's donated multiple motors in the past. I think he was here in January. I think he gave me about a dozen or 2 motors that are all motors that I can use in my projects. It's just, you don't know what you're going to get until you start to ask somebody. When you look at the projects that we've got over here, I've got a robotic arm, I've got a conveyor belt, I've got a pick and place robot, and our last project was an earthquake shake table that we built. And the total cost for Orchard Park High School was $165 to build all. Everything else has been donated. The shake table, the motor, and the controller donated from Mr. Hess that I just showed this picture. Well, how could it get any better than this? I've got all this cool stuff. I finished with the pick and place robot, and I said, this is really neat. I got to tell somebody about this. So I wrote to the company that we bought some parts for. We spent $140 worth of parts on that one from a company called Spark Fund. And Spark Fund Electronics has a website, like most companies do. On their website, they have places where they put cool projects. I said, put my project out there. They said they liked the project, but that's all I heard. This is probably in June of last year. Didn't really hear a whole bunch more about it. Well, come November, I received an email. They said they want to send a videographer, a photographer, and a graphic artist to Orchard Park from Boulder, Colorado. So they flew in for 3 days, and if you haven't seen the picture, there's the picture that they took of us, along with a very nice little video that I'll show you, an interview that they did with me while they were here. And I'll show you that in just a minute. Along with that, the magazine that our photograph was taken for, it's in 5 different trade magazines, electronics magazines. I've got 2 of them up here. We ended up with a coveted back cover spot on Electron magazine. There's my kids, and we've got the inside cover on another magazine called Make. To me, it's pretty cool stuff. I was at their website on Spark Fund, and a lot of times they'll have comment. I have a comment here from Charles McNall, a 2007 graduate of Orchard Park High School, says, no way, this is my high school. Way to go, OPHS. How much cooler can any of this stuff get? As a teacher, you know that your kids are the ones that really make this stuff really come to life. I'll show you another short video, an interview that they did, and I'll let my students speak for themselves. Steve Kennedy, a teacher at Orchard Park High School. I was in a program at Buffalo State College. That's where I first learned about this microprocessor called the PIC-AX. And they've given us these microprocessor controller boards along with the two chips that are needed for the microprocessor and the H-bridge. And so I can do something on a computer and I can tell the motor to turn on and download the program to a microprocessor and the motor turns on. And it turns off when an input happens. We could make a machine and use this as the microprocessor to control it. And that's the whole focus of my program. I just changed everything and went in that direction.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
This is our latest model. This was the pick-and-place robot from just last semester. Basically, it has a turntable that is driven by a stepper motor. There's an infrared emitter detector circuit over here that recognizes the part is there. That tells the arm to swing in. There's a micro switch, D10, in this white plastic here that recognizes it's at the proper position. Once it's there, it tells the next board to do its job, which was to move the axis up and down. So the vacuum arm would slide down, pick the part up, and then that would say, I just picked the part up. There's little micro switches here at the top and bottom that would recognize its position. And from that, it would swing the arm back around and release the vacuum. Anything to do with engineering, anything to do with science and math, that's what I love to do. And so for me, it's been very rewarding. It's a chance to work and hopefully inspire some of the kids. The students basically did this as their semester's work. They spent 1/4 of a semester working for the design aspect. They spent the other quarter to learn how to run microprocessors and controllers. And between the two things, they just sandwiched together, and that's the class, 20 weeks. When the kids do something that they feel proud about and they feel accomplished, I get goosebumps. I do. That's the fun part about being a teacher. That's why I do it. That's why I think any teacher does it. Thank you. So my geeks are over here. So get to come in. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Vince Mikowski. I'm a senior here at OPHS. I took Mr. Kenny's principal's engineering class last year. It really opened up my view of the engineering world. Basically everything I did before this was hammer and nails, which kind of is really rudimentary, but everything that he gave me, from the pickaxe to the motors he was talking about that were donated, just opened my eyes and helped me out a bunch. It sent me into the School of Engineering. I'm not sure where yet, but I'm definitely going into engineering as a future. So here's...
My name is Luke Koza. I was in the CIM class last year, and I helped make the pick-and-place robot. I'm planning on going to college for electrical engineering. Not quite sure where yet, but it really helped me get a hands-on experience with this stuff and opened my eyes.
Hi, I'm Colin Cardle, and I took the sim class as well. And it was a really good class for me. It was kind of let me use my creative side in designing it, because we kind of, he didn't really lay it all out for us. We kind of had to come up with ideas to make it by ourselves before, he wasn't just telling us, this is how you should do, this is how you should do that. So we had to be kind of creative, and I like that. I'm going to Malone University next year for computer science.
I'm Alex Korjaneski, 2009 graduate of Orchard Park High School. I was part of the computer integrated manufacturing class that did the pick-and-place robot. I'm currently a freshman at the University of Buffalo, enrolled in the engineering department. And I plan to take all that Mr. Kennedy and my experience in this class to further my education and someday become a great mechanical engineer.
I'm Aaron Ellison. I'm a senior at Orchard Park High School, and since my freshman year, I've been in technology courses from construction technology, woodworking, furniture production, and it took me to my junior year of working in the principal engineering class with Mr. Kennedy to realize that this is what I really want to do. Yeah, I wanted to be a contractor, and then I wanted to be an architect, and then I saw this. And our final project, he said, do what you want. And me and my partner built a hovercraft, and that was the most amazing experience of my life in school. I lived for 7th period last year. It was amazing. And Mr. Kennedy just helped us so much. He said, do it. We found some plans online, and then we worked with our design, and we had some problems, and he helped us along the way. And I enrolled in UB, and they accepted me, and I'm glad to go there for mechanical engineering. And Mr. Kennedy, you made it happen.
Well, that takes me to the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Mr. Kennedy, as a master's, someone who has a master's in electrical and computer engineering, I thank you. It's too bad that Ms. Lehman's not here. She also owns an engineering degree. And we have spoke for many years on how the engineering departments have been lacking. And really definitely fixes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sneezak.